All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are doing a deep dive, an explainer really, into a massive market event, Astera Labs Q2 2024 earnings report. If you're tracking the semiconductor and connectivity space, you already know they're a huge player to watch. But wow, their latest numbers, they triggered an absolute earthquake in after-hours trading. We're going to strip away all that typical Wall Street noise, cut through the heavy financial jargon, and just look at the pure, hard data. We need to figure out exactly why the market reacted the way it did. So buckle up because these numbers tell one heck of a growth story.
Okay, listen to this initial reaction, up 5.07%. And we're not talking about a slow, steady, month-long climb here. This was a sudden, violent after-hour spike that shot the stock straight up to $380 and a penny per share. Now, sure, extended trading hours can be super volatile, right? But when a stock launches like a rocket, literally minutes after an earnings drop, it means the market wasn't just, satisfied. They were genuinely caught off guard in the best way possible. Institutional money moves lightning fast after hours, and an aggressive 5% jump like this, it sends a crystal clear signal. Astera Labs absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Which naturally brings us to the obvious question. What exactly drove this massive spike? I mean, you don't just magically jump to $380 a share without some seriously rock-solid fundamentals backing you up. We've got to look under the hood. Okay, let's dive into this and unpack the actual financial breakdown that triggered this whole buying frenzy. Let's start right at the bottom line. Adjusted earnings per share. And just as a quick refresher, when we say adjusted, we're just stripping out those weird one-time costs so we can see the true core operating health of the business. So picture the Wall Street's consensus estimate, which was 69 cents, as the hurdle. That's the benchmark the top financial analysts set for success. Well, Astera Labs didn't just scrape their knees getting over that hurdle. They cleared it with room to spare, hitting an actual adjusted earnings of 80 cents per share. Actually, in the investing world, an 11-cent bottom line beat, that is a definitive triumph. It basically screams operational efficiency. It tells investors that this company is turning its day-to-day operations into real, tangible profit way faster than anybody had modeled. But honestly, what's truly staggering here is the sheer scale of the top-line beat. Now, what's really interesting about this is just how massive of a gap we're talking about. The consensus estimate for quarterly revenue was sitting at a very respectable $360.72 million. Astera just completely blew past that, pulling in $392.4 million. This wasn't some narrow, incremental win where they just barely squeezed by, We are looking at a massive surge that resulted in absolute record revenue for the entire company. Think about it. When you beat expectations by over $30 million in a single quarter, you're proving that the real-world demand for your tech is heavily outpacing even the most optimistic forecasts on the street. Let's move to and see how this builds into a much broader growth narrative. First off, consider this 27% sequential growth. That just means this quarter was 27% bigger than the 3 months right before it. That represents immense, immediate short-term momentum. But the real jaw-dropper? The 104% year-over-year growth. They literally doubled their revenue from this exact same time last year. This contrast is absolutely crucial to understand. It proves that Astera Labs isn't just riding some temporary seasonal wave or getting lucky for one quarter. They are executing a massive long-term scaling of their business. I mean, to completely double your footprint in a hyper-competitive tech space in just 12 months, that is practically unheard of. So where is all this insane growth actually coming from? Well, listen to how their CEO, Jitendra Mohan, framed this victory. He said, and I quote, Astera Labs delivered outstanding Q2 2024 results, driven by broad-based strength across our portfolio, including record quarterly revenue for our Aries product line. You can literally feel the confidence in that statement. It tells us we're not looking at a one-trick pony here. They're seeing broad-based demand pop up everywhere. So the crucial point is that specific shout-out to the Aries product line. That is your main catalyst. Aries is clearly their heavy hitter right now. It's gobbling up market share and driving those massive, record-breaking numbers we just talked about. And this brilliantly illustrates the underlying health of the whole operation. Look, if you take away absolutely anything from this explainer, let it be this. It's one thing to generate a ton of revenue, but it's a completely different thing to actually keep it. With a non-GAAP gross margin at 73.7%, that means for every single dollar of product they sell, they are retaining almost 74 cents after the direct costs of goods are paid. Add to that a 39.1% operating margin, and, well, you're looking at the textbook definition of a highly profitable, scalable business engine. They possess incredible pricing power and just ridiculous structural efficiency. Usually,
Growing this fast is incredibly expensive, right? But Astera is basically funding their own massive expansion while keeping these elite margin profiles totally intact. Which leaves us looking squarely at the horizon. With this kind of broad-based portfolio strength, a wildly successful Aries product line, and a completely staggering 104% year-over-year growth rate, how much higher can this momentum realistically push Astera Labs? The market immediately repriced the stock to $380 in after-hours trading based on this stellar data alone. But honestly, if they keep executing with margins north of 73%, today's record-shattering numbers might literally just be the baseline for tomorrow. It's an absolutely fascinating trajectory. Definitely keep your eyes on those profit margins moving forward. Thanks so much for joining me for today's explainer, and I'll see you next time.